Hello, Night Nation. Trey Strelko from the Sons of UCF at Bill Snyder Family Stadium here in Manhattan, Kansas.
Hi, I'm Robert Aronoff with Latavius Murray's Knights 24/7.
Knights lose 34-20 to Kansas State, their first loss of the season, 0-1 now in the Big 12. The story in this one, though, quarterback Taven Jackson for the Knights gets injured, comes back, rallies the team, but too little too late for the Knights.
Yeah, I think the Knights really started from behind because the defense really gave the Knights offense a lot of opportunities in that first quarter. There were 2 turnovers that they created, one through an interception and one through a turnover on downs when they got a 4th down stop, and yet the offense couldn't capitalize on it.
Yeah, and the Knights started off slow. Head coach Scott Frost mentioned that it has been an emotional week for the Knights following the passing of offensive line coach Sean Clark. But head coach Scott Frost said no excuses from this Knights team. They needed to play better. Let's hear from Coach Frost and the players following this one.
You know, we just can't start like that. You know, watching them on tape, really the way people got after them is they earned first downs and made K-State defend runs and then get another first down and make them defend runs, and sooner or later something popped. And that happened for us in the second half. We didn't earn any first downs at the start of the game. Just quarterback guys in the wrong place here or there. The K-State making the right call against what we had on here or there. And we just sputtered in the first half and we couldn't get any momentum going. And, you know, in the second half we started to, and some of the runs that we expected to hit. Made a couple good adjustments for how they were playing our different formations. Well, he got planted in the turf pretty good, which didn't make me happy. But yeah, I was told it was a collarbone, so we were planning on moving forward without. I give him a lot of credit. It was a AC sprain. Same with Jakari. Jakari got one at the end of the first half. So I honestly left the locker room after halftime thinking Cam was going to come back in. We started with Jakari, and then Tay said he was ready and came back in. You know, those kids are tough.
Just went back and got an X-ray and just AC joint. And just I don't want to let my I want to go out there. You know, it can't get worse. So just got to cut through it. So my teammates were very supportive, and it was, we fought hard. So
he's a really tough guy, really tough cookie. You want that at a quarterback. You know, usually quarterbacks are kind of the stereotype of like trying to be the pretty boy and don't touch me. But he proved. I'm pretty sure he earned some more respect than he already had on the team, being able to go back in and do his thing.
How much did it surprise you? You see his arm in a sling, you think he's done for the day, maybe?
Yeah, I've never seen that before. But shoot, man, that goes to type of player he is, you know what I mean? Game's not going too well. Coach, put my pass back on. That's what you want. I commend that. I haven't had to talk to him, but I'm gonna give him flowers for that. You know what I mean? That's the type of person I want to block for.
You know, we got to learn to execute better, and that's part of being a young team. We can't get down in the red zone and false start and have delay of games, and we're starting to make adjustments and call things that weren't necessarily on the call sheet because of what they were doing. And kids were a little slow to get it. You know, the biggest turn of events in that game was we hit the big pass to go down, and we were down 3 points, and we couldn't get a stop right there. You know, that would have given us all the momentum in the second half to come out with the ball down 3. At times the defense smothered them. At times we just weren't quite where we were supposed to be, and they made us pay for it. We got to be able to catch punts. It's little things that we need to keep improving, and that's on us as coaches.
Yeah, that was on me. That drive was on me. A lot of things were on me. Clock management, getting the play called fast in the huddle. So I take full responsibility for those couple drives.
I can get better, they can get better, and we will get better. I think this team has more room for growth than most teams around the country because of how it was built and put together, and the experience that we still need. But I love the attitude in the locker room after the game. I don't think they feel like they gave K-State quite their best shot, and we all need to work to make sure that when we get on the field, we play our best, and that's the only way you can win in this league.
And it kind of goes back to what we were trying to build over the offseason about guys who are just going to fight. No matter the outcomes, just fight for one another. and whatever happens, happens. That's kind of how we do things now around here, man. Just give it your best. Once you give it your best, and let the chips fall where they may. So I'm proud of how the energy is in the locker room. I mean, he hit it right on the head.
It was emotional. It was we wanted this game for Coach Clark, but I know he's up there, wanting to get to the film and teach us little things that we did wrong. But we tried. We came out there. I feel like we played with great energy, and we gave it all that we had. And there's a lot of things that we need to clean up, but that's the exciting part.
I don't know. I can't speak for everyone else, but I know for me personally, it was a bit different pregame. I started crying and everything just because this wasn't the same. You know what I mean? We were gonna miss him. Yeah, like I said, all of us want to play for Coach Clark, I felt it from the boys.
And you find that it brought you guys closer together throughout this week?
It brought the team closer together. Obviously, the defensive players didn't know him as well. They've seen us hurt. We're their brothers, so they did their best to keep us up.
Yeah, that's a different conversation because I've talked a lot about that, and I don't want to make that sound like an excuse. We got beat by a good football team that's lost some close games. I think if things would have started different, the game might have been different, but I got a lot of respect for what they did, and they got better as a football team, and we need to take this one to get better as a football team.
What do you say?
I don't think this team will ever give up. I think we could lose 3 or 4 straight. This team won't give up. We're starting to develop a bond, and I said this early on, but you got to go through some success and some hard things in order to really come together as a group. There's no doubt now that this group's been through some hard things. I think that's brought us close together. I think it drained us of some energy. It drained me of some energy, just the emotions of everything. But I think in the long run, it'll make us better.
All right, for the Knights, quarterback Taven Jackson hurting. He said it wasn't going to get any worse. Obviously, they thought he could play. He played in pain. Again, an inspiration to his teammates. Ja'Cory Brown also dinged in this one. Are we back to a quarterback controversy? We don't know the extent of the injury, how long, if any time he might miss. Knights back at it next week in preparation for Kansas, back in the bounce house.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, the quarterback controversy, I think, we all thought it was going to continue through the season.
Did we? I was hoping it was over.
Well, now with injuries involved, it's going to come back into play, and we're going to be having that question about which quarterback's going to be playing moving forward.
Well, for Kansas State, they mixed up 2 different quarterbacks in the first. It opened up some running for them, and that was effective in stymieing the Knights. Yeah,
it was interesting because Coach Kleiman said after the game that the success that they had at the quarterback, in the quarterback with running, was more due to who they did not have on the field in terms of being thin at wide receiver. And that's why you saw a lot of big 12-man sets, multiple tight ends, and that pushed them to use their quarterback more as a runner.
Let's hear from Kansas State postgame.
What did you see in the game planning for UCF where you thought you'd have some success, and did that differ from what you actually saw?
It's hard because it's hard to evaluate everything that they had through 3 games. I thought the running back's a great player. I think number 7, the wideout's as good a players in this league. We knew we were going to see multiple quarterbacks. Hopefully the one quarterback's okay. We knew when the big kid came in, he was going to be mostly run, although he throws a 70-yard pass against us for a touchdown. They're really hard to defend on offense. And then I thought on defense, they do some really good things with their scheme. But we had to try to win the line of scrimmage, and I thought we did that with our offensive line. I got so much respect for Scott. Frosty and I are really good friends, and this business is hard, and you need colleagues and friends, and we shared some time before the game.
Avery Johnson had obviously a great game on the ground in a way that he probably hadn't done before. Was that a product of what you saw from UCF's defense, or?
No, Avery's a really special athlete, and sometimes we got to say roll and go, just like Dylan. I mean, when those two are running, we can be a much better team.
So, Robert, the Knights fall to 3-1, 0-1 in the Big 12. But if I had told you a couple of weeks ago that they would be 3-1, you probably would have taken that.
Yeah, in fact, a lot of Knights fans would have said before the season started, looking at the first 4 games, that there's a good chance that this team could be 2-2, anticipating a loss to Bill Belichick's North Carolina. And then this game, it's a tough environment to play in here in Manhattan, Kansas. So maybe the team is ahead of where a lot of Knights fans thought they would be at this point.
But again, questions maybe about quarterback. Still some struggles in the running game. They broke some big runs, but in between the tackles, that was a struggle at times. The offensive line with some issues. It has been an emotional week. I don't think you can take too much from this. Of course, we're going to talk about it. Kansas comes to town. Kansas loses to Cincinnati. Every week, Big 12 up, Big 12 down. It's what makes it such an exciting league. But for the Knights, you've got to protect the home field.
Yeah, I think that's really important. And you did lose this game, but this is not the end of the season by any means. With the way that the Big 12 is, where anybody can win on any given day, just about anything could happen. And this team might be headed for higher things in the near future, but it starts with protecting the home against Kansas when they come to town.
Sons of UCF and our Postgame, sponsored by Knights 24/7. You're the publisher of that, and we're thankful that you support our Sons programming. You're going to have all sorts of analysis and breaking this game down. Looking ahead, you'll have Latavius Murray as part of the analysis.
Yeah, Latavius does a breakdown every week of the previous games and a preview from the upcoming games. We have all kinds of articles and analysis from some great writers. And in addition, we have a message board where people can sound off about what's going on with this team or anything going on in Knight Nation or the Big 12. And that's an opportunity with those kind of resources, not an opportunity you get everywhere else.
So the Knights lose 34-20 here in Manhattan, Kansas to Kansas State. They just can't win in this building, 0-3 now. Eventually, Kansas State will come to Orlando and be in the bounce house. Knights also 0-1 in the Big 12. It's a long season, though. 8 more games, and as we talked about, not trying to make excuses for them or put on a happy face on a loss, but you'd probably take 3-1. You just hope that they don't have lingering quarterback issues. Coverage all week long on Knights 24/7. Also the Sons of UCF. For Robert Aronoff. 2 letters, 2 words on Twitter. I'm Trace Trelko. Go Knights!
Charge on.